Welcome to Couple Reviews, where we roll with the punches and salvage a mess. Let me tell you the debacle that was filming this video and preparing this video. I went into Robocop assuming that the wife would play a big role and that I would have a lot to talk about while reacting to the original Robocop. I was wrong. She's barely in it and only in these brief bits of memories. So I watched Robocop and tried to comment on how the relationship was, but there just wasn't that much to talk about. So I decided to supplement that by talking about the rebooted Robocop, but then the footage got corrupted. I had a reaction to the romance in the 2014 Robocop, but I lost the reaction footage. So I decided that this video would consist of what I could salvage from my reaction to the original Robocop, and then I'll do just this off-the-cuff discussion of the romance in the rebooted Robocop. So here's the reaction to the original Robocop. Go do that, and then we'll come back to present day me. So I've never watched Robocop before. Well, I've never watched this Robocop before. Yes, I saw the PG-13 reboot. I know, I was part of the problem, but not anymore. Now we're gonna watch the real version. So when I watched the PG-13 Robocop, I actually liked it, but I had this feeling if I was familiar with the R-rated version, I wouldn't have liked it as much. So let's test that theory, shall we?
Now, listen, pal. Your client's a scumbag. You're a scumbag, and scumbags see the judge on Monday morning. Now get out of my police station and take Laughing Boy with you.
I like how that guy does business. Well, with scumbags, I mean. I like how she does things with scumbags too.
Glad to know you, Murphy.
Pretty neat.
I forgot to say earlier, Murphy is already married, I'm pretty sure. Unless that was something that the PG-13 movie made up. No, he's married.
I usually drive when I'm breaking in a new partner.
But aren't you the new partner? You just got here. In the reboots, his partner was actually a black man. I kept thinking, it's like they wanted to make it a male character, but they didn't want people to be up in arms about it, so they made him black also to shield themselves from criticism.
I really have to tell you
What's our blood pressure?
I finally see his wife 25 minutes in. Yeah, this is Couple Reviews, where we review fictional couples, so if you don't see much of his wife, we're gonna have a problem.
Well, he signed the release forms when he joined the force. He's legally dead. We can do pretty much what we want to.
This is for you. Oh, Happy New Year.
I appreciate crowning the king, but this guy's married. Well, is he? Wait. It said he was legally dead, so does that count as death partying them? Is he still married? I think he's dead.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
Did you lock him up, or are you just leaving him for the morticians? He's supposed to be a cop. You should have put him in his police car. Normally I wouldn't like that, but the punishment fits the crime, I guess.
I'm so scared. Thank you.
I like that. I like how people like him and they're not running away from him terrified. That always bothers me when the superhero takes down the bad guys and then the person that he saves is like, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. This reminds me of the scene from Superman where he is doing a bunch of different saves and takedowns back to back. You don't really see that in new superhero movies as much, where you just see them handling crime after crime for a little bit. We have only seen a few seconds of his wife and kid. I'd hate to say that the reboots did anything better than this movie did, but they did have more time with his family. Welcome to Couple Reviews, where we talk about everything except for couples. Luckily for Robocop, no one aims for the face. Him and Batman are about to see his wife finally.
Welcome, shopper. Let's take a stroll through your new home.
Oh, did they move? They
It's
moved.
progressive development.
Hey, there she is.
I really have to tell you something. I love you.
Oh, okay. Good bait and switch.
Book him.
What's the charge?
Everything.
He's a cop killer.
And yes, and that had him
Just
on
give me
police
my
files
fucking
of having
phone
like
call.
rape and murder and drugs and stuff and more stuff. And he caught him in a drug factory. Welcome to Couple Reviews, where there's no couple to talk about. I really thought that the wife would be around more, but you were arrested. I call shenanigans on the system.
Murphy had a wife and son. What happened?
Yes, you did. Can we please see them, please? I would love to see them.
She thought you were dead.
Yes, but where'd they
She
go?
started over again.
She doesn't have anyone new, does she?
I can feel them, but I can't remember them.
I just realized that there's a reason we haven't seen much of them this whole time. It's because we have as much information about them as he does, so we're on the same page as him. Like, he doesn't remember his family, and, like, he wants to see them again. That's the same position I'm in. Haven't seen much of his family, and I want to see them.
Hey! First they let me out of jail for free. Then, what do I find in the prison parking lot?
You know something? Superheroes have not successfully taught me that killing criminals is wrong. There's no one to stop these people because so many of the police officers are on strike. This is why I don't want to defund the police. Are you two gonna have the little something something now that your wife is gone? I've never heard of that being a thing, but I suppose it's not impossible. Alright, sneaking off while she's asleep because you don't want her. Oh, never mind.
Can I help you?
You're being very forgiving of the fact that he woke you up with gunshots.
Are you locked in now?
Yes.
I figure that's dead on.
Thank you.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit of a something. Is he cheating on his wife? If he, like, he kind of died, so you can kind of say that he's not married anymore because they kind of did that till death do us part thing. So is he allowed to have a little something with his partner?
I give up.
I'm not arresting you anymore.
Oh, I was about to say that didn't work the last time. Look how happy he is. That was really good. That was really good. That was so good. So, there wasn't as much romance as I was expecting going into this, because I was familiar with the PG-13 reboot where they focused on his family a lot more. But they did sort of do something interesting with the family. The original and the reboot were sort of going for different things, I guess. The reboot was all about him reconnecting with his family and his past, and his old life. In the original, it's more like he has to cope with the fact that he lost his old life. Like, he lost his wife, he lost his kid, and it's just it. He's lost it, and he's gotta rebuild himself, I guess. I kept saying we're spending so little time seeing the wife and the kids in these very small segments of memory. We lack those memories because he lacks those memories, and he's just lost it. I haven't seen the sequels to Robocop. I'm not sure if I'm going to. Also, I want to say, after watching this movie, don't get me wrong, I loved this movie. I loved that it was rated R. I love how gory it was. That being said, I don't hate the PG-13 reboots now that I've seen the original. I really don't. I mean, the reboots should have been rated R, yes, but it has its merits to it, I think. I've heard that there's another Robocop movie in the works called Robocop Returns that's going to be a sequel to this film, not a sequel to the reboots, and it might ignore Robocop 2 and 3. So, looking forward to that. It'd be really nice to see. Hopefully, that one's gonna be rated R. I think it's rated R. It'd be really nice to see a RoboCop with like modern technology in the filmmaking, but also with the same level of gore and mature content as the original. That would be so cool. Alright, I wanted to say I figured out why they made the partner in the reboot a man instead of a woman. In the reboot, they wanted the relationship between Murphy and his wife to keep going, so they didn't have his partner be competition, I guess. I would argue that they could have had his partner be a woman and still not be competition, but okay. Okay, so let's talk about the romance in the rebooted RoboCop, the 2014 RoboCop. They went in a few good directions, I think, with the wife. She was a lot more present in the reboots than she was in the original. In pretty much every scene she's in, she's the perfect wife, so supportive, so loving, so always trying to keep the relationship going. And she never considers leaving him. Like, when he gets turned into RoboCop with his metal body, she's talking about him coming back to her and life being like how it was before. So in terms of how healthy this relationship is, it's very solid. Like, this is a very healthy dynamic. And when they get to the point where she starts seeing that the company that Omnicorp might not have her husband's best interests at heart, she's like going to the press, trying to fight for him. So she's a good wife, and Murphy is like trying to get back to her, and you understand why he loves her so much. You understand that he loves her. You understand that they have a healthy relationship. You understand that he wants desperately to get back to his wife and kid. But the problem is his wife doesn't have much personality beyond being very supportive and comforting. Like, whenever they have these cute moments of them together, she's barely saying anything. Like, I'll give you an example. When they reunite, when he goes back home to meet her, in this scene, they haven't seen each other in person in a long time. And when they reunite, she just doesn't say anything. Like, they don't really say anything to each other. They just sort of embrace, and then he goes off to interact with his son, and then we cut it away to another scene. Like, there's no like color to their dialogue. She's just like seems generic in these scenes. Like, in this scene, you can understand that they have a deep connection, but you don't have a deep connection to her. You don't have as many strong feelings towards this pairing. You don't really have as much fun with their interactions. You just understand why this is such a big motivation for him. Her personality is not all there. If she was funnier, then this could have been a great couple. Like, picture it like this. So let's say, just for the sake of this, let's think of how good the pairing is as like an equation. So let's say, in terms of how healthy their dynamic is, let's give them a solid 10. So now, in terms of her personality and their chemistry bouncing off each other, let's give that like a 1. So the healthiness of their dynamic times the personality on display just adds up to 10. So let's say, what if she did have more personality and had more chemistry, and maybe she could even like lightheartedly make jokes about him being a robot? Then that would have brought their score up immensely to 100. And his wife has next to nothing to offer apart from being his supportive wife, and I do like how she's so concerned for him. I like how the story involves her more in things, but like in the original film, she didn't even know he was Robocop, but in the reboot, she had to sign the consent forms for him to be turned into Robocop because it was either that or him dying. So that stuff's all great. But so I think that in terms of writing romance, this film serves as a great example of like how important it is to not only master the dynamic between the two characters, but also to make sure that they're both good as individuals. While we're talking about this, about Robocop 2014 being something to learn from, I think that Robocop 2014 really speaks to how important the R rating is for some movies, because when you look at Robocop 2014 just as its own thing, if you've never heard of the original Robocop, Robocop 2014 is really not that bad a film, and the effects are pretty good. There's some good action scenes in there, like, and some of the action scenes, from a technical perspective, you could argue are more well done than they are in the original. Like, compare the final battle in Robocop 2014 to the Starers taking out Ed 209 in the original Robocop. That there's definitely a technical upgrade in Robocop 2014, but people still prefer the original Robocop because the R rating made it so impactful, like the blood squigs, in the gore, in the bodies splattering, really made that so hard-hitting and so memorable to people. In fact, that Robocop 2014 had so much going for it and still couldn't match that, and still couldn't get that same level of love from people, just speaks volumes to how important the R rating was. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and support good cops.